Hello. Welcome back. It's your girl AJ, the Suburban Princess. Welcome back to Birds of a Feather, the co-ed edition. Of course, that gentleman to my bottom right is Eddie B. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's going on?
Um, I'm depressed slightly.
Yeah,
How are you?
yeah, we're all feeling a little down after that.
See, Eddie says down with a smile because we know it's Wednesday. We're basically over it, but not over it. Because there's really nothing. You know, we're living, we're breathing. The world hasn't fallen. It's just we were so close to celebrating another championship today,
Yeah,
and instead Kansas City is having their parade. Although, if you watch Good Day Philadelphia, they tried to have a little mini parade downtown in South Philly somewhere. So some people,
yeah,
some people were
they,
determined to have a. I don't know why. That was a little
they,
embarrassing. But
they had a
whatever.
Hurts, they had a Hurts parade.
Yeah.
I
Meanwhile, her.
saw that Mike was down there. Yeah,
Yeah, Karen Hep. No, was it Mike? I think it was Mike and Jen, Fred too. But anyway, hello. We're smiling because we know that this is another year we can be disappointed, but we had a nice little 5-year drought of not being disappointed with Philly sports. So it's like
no,
we've
it's
been
been good.
we've been
It's
spoiled.
been good.
We've been spoiled. We've had three major teams end up in the last round of a championship run. And even if they didn't
Now the
lose, they got
Sixers, now the Sixers got to do it now.
so
They
now
need
the
to get there.
Sixers got to shock the world and somehow get past the second round because that's the only thing that's going to impress me. And I said that even before the season started because I told you we weren't even really paying attention to them at the beginning of the season
Yeah,
with great reason because they were lazy as hell and if they weren't sick they were hurt. So um
yeah.
anyway, first we're going to discuss the Super Bowl itself, Super Bowl 37 now 57 now that it's over. Eddie, what were your overall thoughts?
My overall thoughts were, well, of course, I was disappointed, of course, but you know, I just think they came out and they played a very like the second half was just insane. Like
Yeah.
the defense, I mean, they were they were doing okay. I mean, they didn't adapt and change up with when the gameplay changed. So I mean, when the game plan changed with Kansas City, they didn't adapt to it well. And is I mean, yeah, I mean, we didn't play mistake free football, and special teams killed us too. Yeah, that one big giving up that punt down to the 5, like
Tony,
that killed us right there.
now that was a momentum killer for sure.
Because if that never happens, then they got a chance to hold them to a field goal,
Exactly.
or at least have them use up too much time, and they can't score, can't even they don't
Yeah.
score. So I mean, it was just, and the thing is, you can't even, and they can't go back and say, oh well, the defense played. I mean, they weren't getting home. Nobody. They got no turnovers. And they got no they, they barely got any pressure on the quarterback in the second half. Not even hurried him up.
Maybe even
You
one
know.
one time they might have gotten remotely close. I mean, he still had let go of the ball, which is something that we talked about in the last pod. That was one thing you have to worry about. He still managed to get that ball out
Yeah,
on it. And
he always does. He's a
flick of the
hard
wrist, flick of the wrist.
flick of the wrist. Yep.
So
I
tell
mean,
me,
Grant.
how did you feel about everything in terms of like the controversial call toward the end?
I mean, look. My thing is, if okay, like yeah, it was a bad call. Okay, and it was a bad call for one simple reason: the simple fact that they weren't calling them all game. They weren't. They were letting them play all game, and then all of a sudden, so you can't switch it all of a sudden. If you're gonna
Right.
not call it, don't call it. You
Right.
know, if you're gonna let both sides get away with it, okay, let them get away with it. But don't all of a sudden decide, oh, when the game's on the line, now I'm gonna make this call. And that's what they did, and that's a shame. And he knew he grabbed him a little bit. Yeah, he said he did.
He said he did. Yeah.
You know, and the simple fact is like they were letting them play that whole game through, and then all of a sudden decided when the Eagles could have had when a ball that was uncatchable. I'm sorry, that ball was not catchable. It was
Well,
in the
he wasn't
back of
going
the
to make
end
it
zone.
anyway.
He
Yeah.
was never going to make it.
Mm-mm.
That little grab was not going to
Just
stop
need to
him
let
from
it
getting
go.
there because
Yeah.
he didn't turn his body. He didn't stop him from
It didn't impede him from getting to that part of the game.
Yeah, so there was no way. If it was closer, yeah, I get it, but it was not close
Mm-mm.
at all.
It wasn't like goaltended in basketball. It's not like he was right by, it's
Yeah,
not that same
and
kind of degree. Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of things. That the field was so horrible. Like
Mm.
you saw players both sides of the ball, both teams slipping all over the place.
That's why Reddick couldn't even get any traction because
Yeah,
he
you
just
saw
kept
him
sliding
like,
past the quarterback. He couldn't get to him.
yeah,
It was just bad. It was
especially
bad.
somebody who gets low as he does. Like he gets really low when he like when he makes his moves, and that just him not getting a footing. I mean, how many times you see the Chief are both players, both running backs on both sides, fall because they can't get traction.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
I mean, honestly, I'm sorry, were you done?
no, yeah, go ahead.
What what um what irks me about no calls and calls is that, like you said, the lack of consistency. But then also
Mm-hmm.
the thing that people I didn't hear a lot of people moaning about this week so far is that no one realized that Andy Reid got a call for something that happened prior to that penalty. And I was like, when do you get a chance to call something prior to the most recent? Like, when do you get to go back on that? Because he went back on a call and reneged, and even the commentator said, "Oh, that's new." So he gets to stop the clock for something
Oh
before.
yeah, that's
Yeah, like
yeah.
nobody
I
talked
didn't.
about that whole thing because I was just like, how you gonna review something prior to they just it was just a whole thing. And I was telling my father this when we were talking about it the other day, and I said I felt like the game there was just too many interruptions. I felt like it wasn't a flow. If it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the issue with the field, I felt like there was well, we were heading to my sister's house around the time the coin toss, but I heard there was a delay even with the coin toss because it was confusion with TV time versus
Well,
when the rest of the
they had
games
so
were
many
out.
people out there too, which
Yeah,
is
so
crazy. So
yeah, which is total Super Bowl shit. Like, there's stuff that after a while it shouldn't have to really impede the beginning of a game.
yeah,
It's getting to the point where they're filling too much time with shit. Even me, who they say they're doing it for women and children, all I don't need all that. Like, we could cut half of that pre stuff about an hour before the game. Like,
hmm
we don't need to hear Mama Kelsey for the umpteenth time choose between her sons when she's pretty much been doing press all week.
hmm
So there are just certain parts of the Super Bowl now that are getting to be very tired, and that's why I thought I had all this time before kickoff. So I was like cooking like at 6 o'clock, like I was making sure I was occasionally watching commercials, which again weren't really like memorable.
yeah. I couldn't get in any commercials. I didn't watch. I don't remember any of them because I was too busy.
Yeah,
I was too invested to worry about the commercials.
and that's the thing.
Uh,
Like, if I only remembered a couple, it's probably because there was somebody I liked that was in it. The one commercial I know remember that they brought back was the Talking Babies, which I love for I think it's J.P. Morgan or one of those
hmm
law firms, but the babies are so cute, but they're a little older. And then they had a wedding with a black baby. And then there was just all these little conversations with the babies. And I'm just like, I
Yeah.
haven't seen that commercial replay since Sunday. So I'm shocked of all the commercials that kept replaying that to me weren't as funny or memorable, but the one with the
hmm
babies, they didn't play as much. So I was like, and besides the Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, that was kind of funny. But in general, you're right. This whole part of the Super Bowl stuff I could do without now. And it's probably because I'm getting older. I don't need all the extra show.
Yeah.
The call really didn't bug me as much because clearly it was obvious he tugged at him. But I'm with you. I really felt like if that really gave Andy Reid, which any team does, this is not a new concept of soaking up the clock. He actually had the clock working for him instead against him because Andy Reid was always known for not his lack of time management
Yeah.
skills.
Yes. Yes.
So for
Yes.
Big Red to sit there and be able
Mhm.
to just wind it down so that they absolutely had no time to give Jalen Hurts the ball.
Yeah.
And you could see when they showed on the sidelines, like Jalen knew he's like, oh shit, I ain't even getting the ball back. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I
So
mean,
it was
if
very
but the thing is, if they
anticlimactic.
don't make that call, then yeah, they get the ball back
Yeah.
with a minute and change left.
And that's all he would have needed, really. Because honestly, knowing Jalen, he wouldn't have even probably even passed the ball off. He probably would have ran another down and just
Yeah,
flipped
I
it
mean,
off there in the wrong zone.
Eagles offense is doing a good job. I mean, they scored. I mean, this is the most they was this is the most a losing team has scored.
Yeah, and how about the score? Because didn't I say something? Didn't I tell you I thought wouldn't this be funny if it went into overtime? It almost did.
Almost
Like,
did, yeah.
had that thing not been a situation where the kick didn't come in regulation, we would have
hmm
had a overtime game, and I thought that would have
Yeah.
made sense because to me, after and we obviously have to talk about Jalen not being totally perfect. He fumbled, which was at a very crucial time.
And it was a, and it went right to
And
the,
it was basically a pick
and
six,
it
which
went, and it
sucked.
was a fumble return.
Yeah,
So yeah.
to return to a touchdown. Yeah, it'd be different if they didn't get that far, but that dude was on him. And they played him very well. I mean, if there's one thing that started to look like it was going to turn in the Eagles' favor after the way they ended halftime, which was good because they were obviously had the ball in their
Hmm.
control and time of possession, it was the fact that they pretty much at that point had momentum up until that fumble.
Yeah.
And I think what made it even more miserable was the fact that after that, Jalen quickly answered, but he shouldn't have to do as much work if the defense
Hmm.
doesn't hold the Chiefs because
I
they
mean,
didn't
they
have the
didn't.
ball a majority of the time
I
until.
mean, the game plan. Look, Gannon had a great game plan. They kept the ball out of Mahomes' hands, and it was working. And
Mhm.
then second half, they couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
Adjustments, yeah, adjustments
You know.
should
Uh,
always show, and that's what they were showing all year, which is why it was confusing to hate Gannon when knowing majority of the year defense had the most tackles in the NFL. So obviously something was working, but
mhm.
clearly uh, something regressed in the secondary department because there is no way in hell that the same play gets played in different angles the same quarter unless you guys have some kind of weird mentality of reading signals that did not work. I don't know what
Mhm.
Flay was doing. I don't know what Avante was doing. Like it just seemed like a lot of guys did not know where to go when they normally do. And I don't know
Mhm.
why those particular plays
Man.
is where they got exposed badly. And the fact that it happened twice is even more irritating. I knew Travis was going to score. Hell, I knew even Pacheco was going to get one because
Mhm.
we hadn't really even seen Pacheco until later in the game. I'm shocked they didn't start with him.
Yeah.
But again, it's Andy. We all know he's not a big fan of the running game. But everything flipped come second half. Suddenly he was all about Pacheco. Suddenly,
Yeah.
Pat even he got tackled by um 57
Yeah. TJ. Yeah.
TJ. We thought that was a wrap. My sister was actually jumping in the house thinking she's like, "Oh my god, he's really hurt this time. Oh my god,
We
we're
we
gonna
thought
take a
so. We
penalty."
thought so too at the party. We're like,
Everybody did.
wow.
Everybody did because even if
Oh.
you got shot up, you're thinking at this point, you tug anymore on a high ankle sprain, you're done. Because it's gonna mess up his whole coordination. You think
Mhm.
so? Obviously, that was some good drugs because something happened. Obviously,
And,
in halftime.
somebody mentioned that too. There was like, how fair is that? They get to load them up with drugs so he
Yeah,
can come back out.
someone's going as far as on social media probably saying that they think they should investigate, whether or not he
Like
was
what he
investigating at
was
all,
given.
what he was given and stuff. And
Mm.
I thought to myself, I said, the fact that he won is who cares? I mean, it's
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. When you got momentum in your favor at that point, when luckily your opposition started making mistakes and you
Mhm.
and you capitalized on it, you don't feel pain until you stop moving. Until he scored those last three times the way he normally does. The one play, and actually there were two sets of plays, which I'm sure you even realized, that's when you knew it was over because the defense couldn't even get his narrow hobbling ass
Yeah.
down when he was pirouetting around 15 players. And they still managed to not tackle him, let him get all the way almost to like within 10 yards of the goal line.
Yeah.
Once he ran like that on a gimpy angle, I was like, okay, y'all just don't want to play today, huh? Y'all
Like
just
what's
decided to
going
take
on?
a
Yeah.
timeout. What
Yeah.
the hell was that? Like, he's supposed to be the most weakest. That is the time you should just hit him for the hell of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, look what CJ came out of nowhere and just took on Pacheco and sat him down for a few seconds. Where
Mhm.
was that all game? I think that was CJ just being frustrated with the plan and say, this shit ain't working. I'm just gonna hit somebody. And he
Yeah.
did.
He lit him up. Yeah.
He lit him up. So if there's any question that CJ should be the one that comes back out of all the guys that they
Oh,
can
he's
there's
definitely
no way
was.
that CJ Garner Johnson shouldn't be back here,
Oh, he
because
better be back.
Bradbury
Yeah.
obviously knows he wants to get paid, which means he's not staying.
Nah.
Um, but what is your opinion on Bradbury in general? Because obviously he became the topic of social media later when Juju decided to be a dick on Twitter and start making fun of
Uh,
him
yeah. And
on
AJ
Valentine's
and
Day.
AJ kind of came back on him.
Thank God for AJ because I thought for real he was too
But did
bummed to
you
be
did you
on
did you
social
hear
media.
what CJ said though?
Yes, I
CJ
did.
was like, I got more. He's like, I got more interceptions than he has catches,
Yeah,
and he
he's
had
right.
and then he has TDs all
Right.
year. So what is he
He only
talking
had 3
about?
for the year, and I agree with what AJ said. You basically weren't relevant until you got on the Chiefs because nobody gave a shit about you after the Steelers let you go.
Yep.
So, for you to all of a sudden, even if it wasn't, like, really,
Like
really
don't talk.
bad,
Don't talk shit all of a sudden. Yeah.
You just of all people shouldn't have any clout. It'd be different if Mahomes just felt like he was feeling froggy. That's one thing. But it's another thing when Juju is not one of those people. Like if Pacheco wanted to flex, okay, fine. I get it.
Mhm.
You're up and coming running back. You know, you're a good guy. We know you're gonna be a threat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Juju, like anyway. So yeah,
But
I like that little that social. That
I
was a lot of tea last
I,
night.
I kind of like what I kind of like what Mahomes said on in the podium when he said, "Hey, don't take anything from Jalen." And he said in the Eagles, he's like, Jalen came out and did what he was supposed to and balled out. And he's like, even in the loss, he came out and played well. So don't take anything from him. Yeah, he gave him his props. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's to me what a mature man will do. It's for someone who's a second time Super Bowl winner, MVP, you know what I mean? At this point, like Patrick Mahomes could totally be totally cocky about surviving that game, knowing we could have put him on his ass at least 2 or 3 times.
yeah. Well, they knew it wasn't easy for him because I
No,
mean
we never said this game was a walk-in, but it
I
was just
mean
the fact that there were so many opportunities
that
in
score.
one
Yeah,
quarter.
I couldn't believe that score. It's probably one of the best Super Bowls I've seen in like ages.
And you have to give it, and
Yeah,
that's another thing when the smoke clears, you have to look back and say, considering how many yards they ended up giving up in the second half, that score could have been worse. Do you know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like it could have been like a 45-28, loss. Like at least we came within 3 because Jalen was determined to make up for that fumble. And that's just how he operates. He doesn't freeze.
I
He
mean
just goes back and fixes it.
it was just crazy that he tied that up with and
And then got the 2 point
they get
conversion on
2 point
top of it.
conversion. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, homeboy at this point, his shoulder probably feels like shit, but you think he cares in that moment? Like
no,
he knew at that moment, it's like I got to put this team on my back, but he can't be defense. And
yeah.
I like that AJ even said that he knew when it was 27-21 that they were going to come back because that's realistic.
Because I mean they're that kind of team. You
They're
don't.
that kind of
Yeah,
team. You
yeah,
don't they don't sit on that shit that long
yeah. I
because
think
even if Mahomes had went down, Chad Henne had scored for them after he first got hurt. So it's not like Chad Henne couldn't have played something too.
yeah, and we like us like going for that field goal, having to kick that field goal. We should have had a touchdown. You know that would have sealed. That would have made the game a lot harder
And
for
not to
them.
dump on Quez anymore because at this point it's obvious Quez failed at dropping that ball, but that would have probably been the extra point, the extra score we needed.
Oh my god, yeah.
Can you imagine? Because he was right there.
It
Like
is.
had it just not got past his fingers.
Everybody's like, "Oh, he overthrew." I was like, "He really didn't overthrow him. That was in his
He
hands.
didn't overthrow. He could have brought that fingertip and brought it in.
It was right in the palm of his hands."
Right.
You know,
And
and
he had gloves on. So if you got the sticky glove, you can at least get the bottom of the ball and then pull it
and and,
towards yourself.
and the crazy thing was like, Devonta and
Yeah. Always getting fingered.
and Devonta and Goddard made some crazy catches in this game.
Can't you just give it up for
Like
Goddard
like
just playing like a basketball player? Because
like the
homie
one
always turn around.
like the one he got when he had the guy's arm in between him and the ball, and he still caught it. And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Was that the one that you thought was a pick? I thought that was gonna be a pick.
Oh
That one
no,
he threw to
I didn't.
Goddard that was
I
it
didn't
was
think.
so quick, it zipped. I didn't even see
Uh,
him catch it. That's when I thought it was a pick. I said, oh God," and then Goddard got up like, "Get off," like I
yeah,
just
yeah. No, I'm
but
talking
he
about the one he
catches
did
them like
like
a
jump ball.
basketball
I'm
player.
talking about the one that was like a jump ball. They threw it up,
That
and he
too.
jumped up. He got it. The guy's arm is like right between him and the ball, and he just was like pulled it right up.
And honestly, I went back and watched the pressers before the Super Bowl even started, and he had said that he had been studying even AJ and how he catches and runs routes and stuff.
Mhm.
So I really it explained it makes sense to me, regardless of how I'm obsessed with Goddard. But I think
Yeah.
that as a player, he mentally is taking notes of how to improve his
Oh, he's
game.
gonna he's gonna be a problem next year.
And I
Watch.
hope he continues to be a problem
He's
because
gonna be a
honestly,
problem next year.
he is not being really nationally getting that shine like he's up and comer.
For
They
the
kind of just jump over him until he
yeah,
does catches like that. Like
for the
that's what it takes for them to even mention Goddard in a sentence with a
yeah,
top 5 tight
yeah.
end.
And for the simple fact is that he can do it all. He can run. He can run after the catch. He can block. Yeah, he can do
He's the
all
only
that
one that
stuff.
can do the screens decently. It seems like we
Yeah,
haven't done a decent screen since Goddard started running tight end screens.
yeah. Well, I mean, remember, Ertz was not good at tight end screens. Remember, he was
No,
not.
he wasn't. I mean,
He,
honestly, Ertz was the guy that could catch with one arm. He was that
yeah,
dude.
but he was like asking to get some yak. It was like, nope. Not
No,
getting
and
that
actually
like,
no, because remember those last 2 years is
yeah, but
seemingly he got it, but
that
not his whole
still
career.
wasn't his best. Like he still
It
looked
wasn't his best thing, but for some
he
reason it
still
was
looked
working.
uncomfortable running like in the open field.
No, he would
Like,
always just make sure he was clear from getting hit, but I
yeah.
felt like that got in his head, but it was, like, too little too late, but we honestly appreciate him more for the
Oh
Super
God,
Bowl
yeah. I
because
appreciate.
the Super Bowl is where, to me, Ertz shined the most out of his whole career. I mean, he
Mhm.
was playing out of his mind, and he was running routes, and especially in the, Vikings game now that I think about it too, because he ran that one route that got Harrison Smith turned around.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I was like, "Alright, Ertz is smelling himself too." Him and Foles on the same type of coffee.
Yeah.
But you're right. This is if this is gonna be Goddard's start and he's only what, 3 or 4 years in the Eagles and he's already re-signed, to me, it's only sky high for him as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's a scary thought to know that him and Hurts are
And that
already peaking.
for him to have a healthy season.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and even
Yeah.
when he was down for the 5 weeks, the other 2 tight ends stepped up quickly after they kind of
I
fell apart the week
I,
after.
I like Stoll. I
No,
like
I love Stoll
Stoll
too, but him and Calcaterra stepped up big like weeks
and
after that.
Galcaterra. Yeah, Galcaterra.
Calcaterra,
I
yeah,
mean,
like
I'm done with the Tyree Johnson project as a tight end. You can
which I
just,
feel bad about because I don't feel like he's
yeah,
really gotten that long of he hasn't been on the field long enough. Like, honestly, like, since he came back and it's been
but
2 years that we've really seen him play, and it was only preseason, so we still don't
but
even really even know what kind of player he
the thing
is.
is, when he is in, he makes too many mental mistakes.
Yeah, but that was
Too.
only one game though, wasn't it, to be fair?
Not
There
really.
was more than one game that he
He
fucked
did
up and
it a
got a
couple
foul
times. He was
flag?
like messing up. Yeah, I mean,
Alright,
eh,
well, all I could say is sometimes some guys just need more reps. Like, to me,
yeah.
that's
I
why
mean,
Quez is falling apart because Quez obviously be regressed because they once he fucked up during that Dallas game night with the fumble, they didn't trust him. So then all of a
yeah.
sudden, to me, you shouldn't be shocked if you decide to throw a ball to him out of nowhere and he drops it because he's out of practice. Like
Mhm.
he's not used to being in the flow of the game because if they're not, they've been using Pascal. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think they move on from.
They're gonna
Uh,
have to. He's been on the team long enough. Like that, this was his year to really shine, and say that he's learned a lot, and especially because Devonta came back like 10 pounds heavier, even though he still looks like a twig. He's
yeah, he does.
he muscles himself out of coverage, and he's pretty much had like 6 balls taken away from him from bullshit calls, but he still keeps hustling.
Yeah,
And
I think
Quez
we.
just seems to get outmanned.
Yeah,
So,
I think we either get a veteran or to fill that spot, or just whatever,
I
or draft another guy late in the draft.
that's what I'm thinking, or either get like, and most likely he'll be UFDA type of thing. Like you never know, some guy could come out of the OTAs and shock the world, and they probably also have some guys still chilling that they haven't even used yet. So that's the beauty of them stacking as many guys as they did from the previous draft because I think Howie's finally learned like what is the point of just stacking guys that aren't useful, that don't have any
Hmm.
skills if they can't come in handy late in the season. So to
Yeah,
me, if there's another guy out there that turns into Corey Clement, during his rookie year, then what the hell's the point of getting
yeah.
UFDAs? So
Hey, look,
yeah,
yeah. Some
Quest
of
can
our
get
best.
another. He'll be like Matisse. He'll find somewhere to go.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Yeah,
He'll be all right. I mean, speaking of Matisse, real quick, did you hear that Matisse is on Trailblazers doing well?
yeah. I'm happy for him. I'm
And he's like,
happy for him.
whatever.
I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for Matisse too, but I mean, I
Yeah.
think the sweetest thing impression that he's made obviously was from that bubble year in the
Mm,
vlog, and that's what we remember him from. But I think with Matisse, it was something where he probably had hit his ceiling with the development as far as being on the Sixers, and
oh, he's a he's a specialist player. He's not. He doesn't. He does one thing really well,
that's a
and
good.
and that's good. He's a specialist. Like and that's we just don't. We don't need that right now. We need somebody that can come off the bench and get some points. Like not just coming into like just play some defense.
All right. Well, before we go into the Sixers because they play tonight before All Star, so which seems like it's going to be really boring because it's going to Utah. But I'll probably watch some of it because I'm not expecting nothing. I know one thing. I wish they would get rid of slam dunk because I think it's too much pressure and it doesn't deliver anymore. But
Yeah,
they don't know what to
it
do.
it gets stupid too. Like
I mean, honestly, when it comes down to these All Star portions of every season, you kind of just feel like they try too hard to try to make stuff different. And there's just some things like if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing.
yeah, did you see who we signed on a 2-way contract?
Yeah, who is Deadman?
No,
Oh,
McMillan,
Mac McClung, yeah, the
Mac
white boy.
McClung, yeah, the white boy, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw some footage real quick, and I was just like, "All right, he got
Okay,
up. Let's see what happens."
yeah, he could jump.
You know what I mean? And I feel bad for Ferkman because ain't nobody want him either.
Hmm.
Still, like this boy been trying to get traded for 3 seasons. Ain't
Why, why,
nobody
why,
wanted
why,
that.
why, why, watch this guy come in and outplay Kurt Korkmaz.
I'm sure he will, and that's what I feel bad about. Like, how long can you just let a guy sit on the bench knowing that he has no trade value whatsoever? You know, and
they're like, they're like,
they
they're
keep
like,
bringing guys
please,
in for Embiid.
they're like, come on, take him. We give you a box of towels too. Like, come on, something to take him.
Come on, you need somebody to hold 10 minutes and let the starters rest. That's your guy.
We'll send you our floor mopping guy too. Like, come on.
The
Like,
funny thing about Ferk is that all of a sudden he started doing these like sneaky passes last season and in the beginning of this season when when everybody was out for a while. And I said to myself, I said, look at Ferk trying to act like he looks like a ball player all of a sudden. What the hell? Like he started dunking crazy. I said, oh, he been practicing. Something changed. So now I feel like that's why he feels even uh uh more positive about trying to get the hell
yeah,
out of Philly because he's like, my skills are not being utilized. Well, I'm being. Let me stop being
yeah.
racist.
You like, yeah, you had your chance, buddy.
Anyway, so going back, all right. So we need to talk halftime real quick. What did you think of Rihanna's performance?
I thought, you know what? I thought it was good. I don't know why people were hating it so much.
I
Like, I
think
just
they
wanted to.
expected like I did. I expect somebody to come out. That's the only thing I was
I
waiting
thought
for.
so too, but you know what? Hey, look, she did her thing. The songs that she picked were good.
We're good.
They were really
Yes.
good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's
You
only
know,
maybe one or two I wish she had done, but it's like
I thought Jay was gonna come out when she started singing "Run This Town." I was like, oh shit, is Jay gonna come out?
I
Or
actually
when
thought
or
when she did Umbrella.
oh that too. Yeah, I was like, is
Yeah,
Jay
yeah.
gonna
I
come out?
expected him to just go because he was there. So I thought maybe he
Yeah.
might get on the mic, but then I'm thinking, them floating things. I don't think Jay-Z would fit in them
Jay's
floating.
like, nah.
You're like, I ain't
Yeah,
doing that bullshit.
yeah, you know what? Kudos to her because I would not be on that thing.
I mean, come on, and the fact that she was
And
pregnant
she's pregnant too. I
and
was
she's
like,
pregnant.
I'm looking at saying like, please don't have no problem. Please don't fall. Please don't fall.
And they
Please don't
actually
fall.
showed in some bits, of course, because people just stare at shit too long and repost it. But there was a dancer that slipped, but luckily they only fell back, but they didn't like they didn't teeter, they just fell
Yeah.
back. And I have a feeling the sneakers that everybody was wearing, because I'm sure she was showing her line, you know, all the
Mhm.
memes obviously that came out that kept simulating the dancers were sperm and
Yeah.
Rihanna was
Running
getting
home.
impregnated by her.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
no, he took care of that 6 months before, I'm sure.
Yeah. He's already. That's a done deal. It's done.
ASAP was like, the tweets coming out like, ASAP, she just had a baby. Damn.
Did you see the memes of like Drake crying
Honestly, when she was first pregnant, they went straight to that clip
because
of
he
Drake when he's staring at his phone. And I said, that probably ain't got nothing, no
because
relevance, but that's a shame.
he find out that she's pregnant again and he's just crying. I'm like,
He walking
yo.
around hugging every ball player. I just like, oh, poor Drake, poor Aubrey. His heart's probably broke. I actually thought for one moment that she might actually have him come out for a brief moment, but then I'm like, they
He's
ain't been cool since it's been affirmed that her and Rocky were.
yeah, that motherfucker too bitter to come out. He ain't
He's
coming.
way too bitter. I mean, I'm sure when he hear what's his name, he probably feels like an ass now because he's like, I thought I had that. I really
Uh,
thought I had that. So anyway, it should tell all you men out there, if she's not trying to holler back at you, don't try to make public declarations like she's gonna change your mind. It just doesn't work. She's gonna get pregnant on you with another dude. Anyway,
yeah,
but
but
yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was good. I ended up
yeah,
watching it back later the next day, and it
yeah.
actually flowed
I
really
gotta watch
well.
it too because I couldn't hear most of it because it was
Yeah,
so
and I was
loud.
moving around because I was with my sister and the kids, and they were so busy screaming every time we heard a song that we knew. We were like, ah, we were like that.
Yeah.
So I went back and watched it on it because you can find it on YouTube and
Oh yeah, they got the whole performance on there
the whole
probably.
performance. So it's like it's just like when I did when Madonna was on, or when Beyonce did, like some stuff you don't remember because you're just expecting other stuff. So you have to go back and really listen to the hits and how they blended them in, and it was well done, and it
Yeah,
was simple,
and
you know.
I thought it was you know, people were like, "Oh, well, she didn't run around." Like, hey, she was dancing too a little bit, and for her to be
She did
doing that,
enough.
for her to be doing what she was doing, and she was pregnant too. Like,
And then
that
towards
wasn't,
the end, doing diamonds even higher in the air with the jacket. The
yeah.
hell? Like, what do you expect her to do? Twirl on her head? Like, she kind of made the announcement in the beginning of the. I mean, I didn't really notice until she went to the side. Then I was like, ooh. I was like, I think she got a little pouch. And then
I noticed when she came out, I was like, okay,
I didn't even
I think
notice.
Rihanna's got another one in the oven here. Like, they got
Because at
another one
first I even
coming.
looked at my sister. I go, well, you had a baby. I'm like, she just had the one. He's only 6 months. I was like, can't you sometimes just still have a pooch? And my sister's like, I don't know. She could be. She could not be. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, if she hasn't performed also in 7 years, I'm thinking, why would you rush? Because she took her time
Yeah.
since she's been out in public for a while. Like she said, she felt like that only got her out the house because she's making enough money laying down on her bed with Fenty and stuff. So she don't really have to do shit. Like people keep threatening an album. I'm like, who the fuck do y'all think y'all threatening?
She's got all this extra stuff that she does. Why does she need to do anything else?
The Savage
You
Fenty
know,
show is entertaining. I mean, even though this
and
past one was like,
she's got
eh.
that. She's got her line of clothing. She's got shit.
Underwear, she got
She
everything.
ain't got about
Makeup,
nothing.
skincare. Why
She
would you get out of bed?
she could not record another album for the rest of her life and don't need to worry about it.
To me, she's done enough personally.
Yeah.
Like I think she's definitely one of the people you want to see in Vegas because she'll definitely give you a nice little show with all her albums
Mhm.
that she has out already. For those who are waiting, I have a feeling they'll be so picky they'll be pissed about it when she drops it finally. So that's why I say you take your time, Ree, because these
Yeah.
ungrateful bastards expect everybody to spit out hits every other six
Yeah.
months. I'm like, do you realize how long it takes for a good album to be done? I don't want
Mhm.
her to rush it. People keep dropping albums every other week in their ass. Like nobody remembers half the stuff that drops now because it drops too quickly. You
Mhm.
know? I mean, Drake dropped 2 albums and people still hate it.
Yeah, well,
I mean, if you're a Drake fan, I mean, I still listen to his old stuff because I like Drake then. But anyway, getting off that subject, but all in all, was I
nah,
bummed?
Aubrey.
Yes.
I said, nah, Aubrey.
Yeah. Have a seat, Aubrey. You made enough money too. But he need to take care of that baby boy and get to know him. Um,
Yeah, right.
you know what I mean? Because Adonis is that boy might have some trauma later in his life when he realizes how he was conceived.
Like, your dad was Drake.
He ain't dating with a stripper. Anyway, um, let me leave
Hey,
Aubrey
hey.
alone. Pick him while I was down, light skin. But no, I there's one thing I know next year. If the Eagles do go back, well, I should say when because they have a very good shot of going back. They have to decide. They have to decide whether or not um adjustments are really important after this game. Because if there's one thing we learned, how they became 14-3 was not because they weren't making adjustments. So I don't know why the plan failed
Mhm.
in Super Bowl, but
Yeah.
and we also know there's players that are not coming back this year. So you have to deal with a whole nother different type of defense. Now, mind you, we still got some guys that are signed, but you still
Mhm.
have some decisions to make in that secondary, which still has been
Well,
a fucking problem.
we
You
also
know,
got to figure out. We got to figure out like who's going to be a coordinator.
yeah. It looks like there's feelers out there for someone who's already there, but now they're saying that Lovey Smith might be a candidate.
I would love to see Lovey Smith wearing
You
the
said
Eagles.
that. You said that. Someone else just said that
I
too.
said that a while ago. I would like to see him as a coordinator here.
Tank just said it on Fourth and John from their live the
I
other
would
night.
love
That
to see
he
Lovey
would love to
Smith.
see
I
Lovey
mean,
Smith.
he's a defense guru. Like,
I'm all
he-
for a black
yeah,
coordinator party.
take it. I mean, even though we were gonna get isn't the guy they were looking at? Isn't he black too?
Quarterback coach is
The
going to
internal
most likely be the
guy.
OC. Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
one that, which for Hurt's sake, I think makes sense anyway because you want some consistency,
yeah.
and he hasn't had that in a while. So my whole thing is, why would you want to get a different OC? To me, it made sense for Shane to leave. Um, he looks like Dak
You
Shepard,
know who
doesn't
I
he?
was thinking about, but I don't
Who?
know if he signed anywhere yet. Byron Leftwich
Oh yeah, from Tampa Bay. No, you're right. I agree with that too. Wait, as a what?
as an
DC?
OC, as an OC.
Oh, the OC. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember he was OC for Tampa and they were good. Just Brady just didn't have a good year.
No, he didn't. I just feel like if Jalen, I just feel like for the sake of people wanting to continue his growth, just stick to the language that he's had already thus far. Um, Now, mind you, I
Mm,
know everybody wants that the Johnson guy, but at the same time, I just feel like it would make sense for. Now, mind you, you can't stop nobody from getting their paper because this is their only chance, and we all know that they only seem to want to hire black guys as OCs and not head coaches.
yeah.
Eric Bieniemy, um, who now is possibly looking at Commanders position. I'm
Uh,
like, does that mean Wentz is going to stay?
hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know if Wentz is worthy of helping at this point. I feel like he's decided he's just going to ride it out.
Yeah, who knows? But
Who knows? But
I don't even want to
Eric
talk about
Bieniemy, though, the fact that he's even taking an interview, which means it's probably a good sign he's going to be an OC somewhere, which is good because I think Andy needs to switch it up anyway on his staff.
it. Hmm.
And at this point, he has 2 rings, so maybe it's time for him to go looking,
Yeah.
um, just to change
I
his.
mean, he may have to do it soon for a lot of opportunities out there. You know.
as fast as these mother fathers on our squad just got jobs, it was like obviously that was inevitable. And I
Mm,
do not understand, and I don't know if you heard, why didn't Gannon talk after the game?
I don't know.
He wasn't
I,
available to media. So that to me just screams
that he
fraud.
was out. That he was out.
He was already out and he was scared or he was too much of a bitch to take the heat personally. Because I feel like this motherfucker, I told you I didn't think he really liked being on the team from 2 years ago. I've been said that.
Hmm,
So I felt like they were making do with him until he had an option to leave and actually get a head coaching job. I think they're
yeah.
trying to talk it up, but from our end, us fans are like, fuck you, goodbye. Because if you're the reason why our defense couldn't even readjust once in a key part of the game, then we don't need you here.
Yeah.
Why that would make him get a head coaching job, I have no idea. I say I feel bad for James Conner and Ertz if they screw up that offense over there in Arizona because they're already a mess.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Now, one thing I do want to say, if they do go to the Super Bowl next year, I don't want nothing painted. We need to stop with the fucking murals the day before the Super Bowl. Like that just jinxed everything, I think, if you want to be superstitious. They already had a mural up with the same bird likeness, but with Mahomes in it. And I
Hmm.
said, y'all should have not did that before they even played the game. You had 2 weeks of media. Y'all could have just waited. All that stuff is more fun after the fact, not before.
Well,
You
didn't
know,
they did that one before though too, didn't they?
it was after the game.
They did it after the game.
That's what made
Okay.
it fun. That's what I'm saying. Like you jumped the gun. Like everybody thought we could repeat the same energy, and it's a totally different squad. Like to me, we just
Mm.
as fans got a little too cocky too soon, and there was a lot of downtime. So I felt like people used that excuse to put all these fucking murals up, and I was like, y'all need to relax. We didn't even play the game yet. I
Mm.
just felt like it just, and I know it's stupid and superstitious, but I just felt like it was a little premature to start making. Although I do like the mural that the guy did of Jalen. I have it on my screensaver now. The guy that did that everyone wrote thank you all over it now. Like now it's got all this thank
Mm.
you, we love y'all. That one is a good one because that was just of him, and to me that made sense.
Mm.
But the other one just was like you're just assuming that they can just kill the Chiefs, like it wasn't going to be a battle, and I just felt like that was just dumb. And then all of a sudden, of course, everything that I ordered before the Super Bowl just came in. And I'm just like, the
I
fuck?
still, I still want that Philly thing sweatshirt though.
You do?
Yeah, I may try and find it. See if I can find it cheap.
It's a Philly thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the
Okay.
sweatshirt. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, because this one was the right one. Because the one I told you I had last one was a Bobo one. And
yeah.
it was
He
the
said it's a
Philly one
Bobo
wasn't
one.
even green. So this one came from Rally House. So shout out to Rally House. I had a gift card from when I went to go to
I
my
haven't been on. I keep
watch
forgetting
along
there's
at
one right
97 Fanatic.
over, literally right over
Willow Grove.
in Marlton. There's a rally
Oh,
house right there,
Willow Grove near me. Yeah.
and
Um, I would only go to that shop with a gift card because everything is never on sale there. That's the only thing.
no,
So I felt for this. I'm like, I had a $50 gift card. Thank you to 97.5 The Fanatic because I got to do a watch on 2
I,
Fridays ago and I got gift cards.
yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen to your whole
Wins
thing.
gift
So
card. It was just a segment. And it made sense because I didn't even think I was going to even get in the studio, but I'm always ready. Tyrone
that was
knows I'm
cool.
always ready.
That was cool.
So
They had you
it
in the
was just nice
studio
to sit there.
because I
It
heard
was very nice. It was more for go ahead.
I was listening to the radio and he was like, and Jen and I was like, oh, we got AJ coming in soon. He's like, I was like, wait, AJ? I was like, oh shit! Like she didn't tell me she was going on there. I happened to be in my car, and I was like,
No, I would have
oh,
told you if I knew I was definitely going on. I didn't know I was
oh,
going
okay,
on. The girl who had me outside, who was an intern, had me and her got along very well. That I was missing some of the stuff they were saying about me. Like it wasn't until the second time you mentioned my name that I looked up because where I'm sitting outside, you can see that glass window.
uh,
It wasn't until I turned my head and I heard them say it because I heard Jen say, "Oh, it's that AJ," because there's like 3 AJs that call, and so when she knew it was me, she's like, "Oh, I have to say hi," and then they decided to do their skit where Jen gives them something different to taste from TikTok, and so that was
that's when
Tyrone's
they
excuse
bought.
to let me in.
Yeah, I saw. I heard that part. Yeah, you
So,
came in
and they
for
didn't
that.
prep me for it. Like it wasn't like Tyrone said we might put you on air. He literally just was like, "AJ, you want to come in now?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
Like
right. I
I
was
wasn't
like,
doing the whole like who me. I was just like, "Yes,
I
I'm
was like,
ready."
oh, that's like AJ's going on.
Yeah. So shout out to
Yo,
Tyrone
then
Johnson. I
it
had
was,
interviewed him for my 5 questions, so that was fun.
and then when Jen, when Jen said, I was
Oh
cracking up.
yeah, her clip was funny when she's like, I just kind of went down on Sirianni, and I was just like, that because Ricky was like, "Boom, you used it. I didn't think you guys were gonna use it."
Mm.
It was a funny skit.
Yeah.
She's very sweet though. But yeah, that was something that was supposed to have been done for something else technically, but it got to the point where 3 years had passed. I was originally supposed to be going to hang out with Jen Fred. It didn't happen. And so it was like almost like with the autism thing where like the package didn't quite,
Mm.
meet out. So
Yeah.
I ended up getting other stuff. So this was one of the things I had to compromise because originally I was going to see when Mikey was still in there, but then they had a COVID outbreak, so I couldn't go. So I mean, shout out to those in the promotion department who even remembered to keep coming back to me because I honestly forgot about it. I was just kind of like,
You're like, I forgot.
I'm like sitting there going like, who is this person keeps emailing me? And then once I saw the studio call letters, I was like, pay attention, pay attention. So that's what happened. But that's how I ended up. Ricky Bo was very funny. Tyrone's obviously like I feel like he's my brother from another mother, and I've only met him like once or twice. But yeah, it was a great experience for little old me who always had pipe dreams of being on the air. So that was my day in
Uh,
shining glory. I put the clips that I because the girl had to upload them like little by little because you can't send no video clips through email quickly. So it's like everything has to be kind
yeah.
of copy and pasted together.
Yeah.
But I put the one clip on because they just finally started doing a TikTok page. So that's why that one was the one I reposted the most because Tyrone sent it to me. But anyway, so yeah, I'm over it. I don't know about you. I'm over it as far as being sad.
Yeah. I mean,
It's still a bummer, but
yeah. But it is what it is at this point, and we knew, win or lose, just like it happens. There was that. Look, I'm just happy they got there, and all the fans from like all the Cowboy fans and all the like fucking
yeah,
49ers fans, everybody else that
49ers fans are
talking
hot.
crap. Their team was watching it from home, so you know what? I don't care what the fuck they say. They can just go ahead and kick rock somewhere because
And
they,
the
you know,
flip
like,
floppy national people too. I'm kind of just like y'all all chose the team. Like so y'all can't flip on us after y'all all chose the Eagles to win. So now that y'all feel stupid or the
mm,
people want to be like I was right, fuck y'all. Because
yeah,
when Jalen goes back, y'all gonna sit here and think that he's gonna fail again, and he's not this
but the
time.
thing is,
So
I would get it if we got blown out by Kansas
right
City, but we didn't. It went down to the
to the
last ticks of the clock,
To the wire,
So
yeah, and that's why I say at the end of the day, the thing is we got our quarterback, so we just waiting for the ching to happen for Jalen, and then we can figure out the rest from there. Because
hmm
it's clear we found our franchise quarterback,
oh
although
yeah,
some of us knew that beforehand, but y'all just wanna be haters. But now that he's proven himself, now he just gotta find a team that can ride with him. Because clearly he got his wide receivers. We just need to get the defense to get together. And clearly they're probably draft either a cornerback in the first round or they're probably going to get an OL person because we
oh
know
you
at some
always
point
you
have
gotta
to
stop
replace
you
it.
gotta stop the offensive line,
You got to stock it, and at this point,
and
we whether Kelsey admits it or not,
and
I think Kelsey's going to retire. I don't think
and,
I
that,
don't
and,
think
that,
Kelsey's
and that's always been our success, just stocking
going.
the O line and the D line. It's the battles went up front, so I mean that's what they do. So keep it up.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
no point in changing it now.
no, and I think, but I think that'll be more exciting to me though if they do actually go for the secondary first in the first round. That'll be a shocker
Well,
to me if
yeah,
they
we would
cornerback.
need to, especially if there's a good one out there in the top 10. You take them. You take them.
Yeah, I've seen some mock drafts and somebody was suggesting somebody from Oregon that's a cornerback, as
If
a
there's
good get.
if there's a stud in the top 10, you take his ass. Yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's a no brainer.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be excited this year for the 4th and John draft, stream because last year was hilarious, so I'm hoping to have more funny moments this year because that was too much fun. Hopefully you get on one too because I'm telling you, if you just sit there through it, some random shit happens every year.
Mm,
It was so much fun last year.
and
The funny moments that we had,
and
that when I joined.
yeah, and mark my word, don't be surprised if they trade out that last pick out of the first round
I'm expecting that. To me,
just
that's
to
the MO.
just to get another one in a second. You
Yeah,
know,
because that's what how he does, right? He always flips a pick to get
because
more
if you can
picks.
flip that and get two picks out of it, why
Right,
not?
yeah. He
And if you
plays it
can
like
and you can pick in
dominoes.
the early second,
Yeah.
why not?
Well, I mean, and at this point, like I said, it's nice to have a team that you don't have to worry about how many times they need like these names. Like we're not so desperate that we need so many names. It's just we need the basics. And
Yeah,
so I don't think we should be as stressed as a fan base for this draft because we're doing pretty good.
yeah.
Um They have enough backups now that can come and step back up this year. That the ones that were injured that played through their injuries, it wasn't even
Mhm.
like a whole laundry list of
Nah.
people. Like
And can we
Lane
please,
got his surgery now,
yeah,
and then hopefully Hurts will get his for his shoulder. Maybe
yeah.
Dallas.
And can we
So
just please, hopefully, Laurie keeps doing what he's been doing and staying out the damn way. Just stay out the way.
his son's been with him a
Stay,
lot, so I think he's basically trying to get his son's face to be like the
stay,
new.
stay out of the way, Laurie.
Yeah. No, I think he knows that it's capable now. I think Howie has kind of reverted back to executive of the year kind of shine. So
Hmm.
I don't think Laurie feels the need to sell himself. I think when they were going through that dark period, yeah, he was worried about his
Hmm.
franchise looking bad. But now Howie got it now. But
Yeah.
you know me, I'm still fuck Howie all day because I know he's gonna fuck something up. But he's been doing good. I can't say
Hey,
nothing.
look,
I
you know
can't act
what?
like he hasn't
He's
made
not
up for
always
anything he's messed up on.
he's not gonna always hit the bullseye every time, but he did. He's been
No,
doing
he's
good.
not,
So
but he was fucking up a lot for a while, but
yeah,
we all have learned that at this point to just trust Howie, trust the process. So
yeah.
if only he could really snap his fingers with the Sixers franchise, because God knows we don't know what the hell is going on in the front office there. Um,
No.
we just know that they know how to party. That's for sure. Michael Rubin, even though he's not even with the organization anymore, homeboy can bring anybody to a party. Somehow Embiid rolls his big ass over there too. So at some point we just have to be serious about the Sixers either having to be sold or having to rethink their strategy because something is clearly lacking in the front office when it comes to them getting a stable core for Embiid since he started getting in a playoff run every year.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just need to finish that and God, just please let it be soon because I just don't feel like let's not wait till
Yeah.
Embiid's like gone and retired before we
I
finally
know,
figure this
right?
shit out.
Before it
You know what I
starts to
mean?
click, yeah. No.
Yeah, because we're not gonna have a 7-foot Cameronian like him
That
again.
that that can move like that,
That
yeah.
can move like that because nobody can play like Embiid. That's why they keep hating on him and not giving him MVP. But
Like get that man his roses, please.
so, question before I end: are you going to watch any of the All Star stuff, or are you like, yeah,
uh,
my dad doesn't watch that stuff as much?
I used to get into it more. It's fun to watch some of it. I mean, I like the 3-point competition. I watch a little bit of that stuff and like some of the skills competition, but I really don't care about the dunk contest anymore.
Well,
Uh,
Tatum is in the 3-point competition. That cracked me up
I
because it.
miss,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I miss the whole like when they used to have what was it? They used to do the 3-on-3 with
Oh yeah,
two
yeah,
NBA players and a
yeah.
WNBA player and a college guy or something like that. It was like weird. Like I missed that. That was fun. That was cool to
They
watch.
should mix it up with the WNBA girls anyway because that obviously is to me the point of trying to bring more attention to the brand.
Yeah.
I mean, my
Oh,
Aces just loaded up with Candace Parker, so now Aces is gonna be something to watch. Them and the Liberty this year, they done
yeah. Because
loaded up and got a super team.
didn't the other girl go to Liberty? She left.
Brianna, yeah, she
Yeah,
left
she
Chicago,
left.
and went there. So I'm like, these other teams is gonna be highly
And there's
pissed.
another girl too who left another team she was with for a little bit.
There was a lot of swapping. Yeah, there was. But the
Yeah.
noticeable one to me was Brianna moving over there and then Candace going to the Aces. So Candace said, I'm trying to retire with another ring.
Hey, why
So
not? Right.
WNBA might get a little more interesting in May. So that's something to watch out for. Um
Hmm.
and also just in general, shout out to the Phillies getting ready to start pitchers and catchers.
Yes.
Um I'm sure we can't wait for real spring to
I'm
come because
I'm excited. So.
I'm excited too. I miss being outside in terms of like springtime, but I don't miss the allergies. Lord knows my allergies are 365, but I'm excited to actually go to a ballpark, eat a hot dog again, and have a drink or
Mm,
two. But yeah,
yes.
we know that we got Trey Turner, so and we got a lot of new signees that are exciting for pitching.
Team should be it should be definitely made some improvements, so it should be fun to watch.
It definitely will
So
be, and I think once winter decides to finally get the fuck out of here because we didn't really have one, um, we can
yeah.
really bring on a real start to April.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so final thoughts about, I guess, the Super Bowl is that, they almost got there. Um, I wish I could hug all the Eagles players because I know they truly are still in shock that they came home with no Lombardi. But again, you can't not shout out Mahomes for just being the dude that he is. Like
Yeah.
he has the heart of a lion for someone whose foot pretty much fell off
Yeah.
in the last two games. But
But you know the Eagles need to hold their head high because you know why they had a good year and getting to Super Bowl is not a small feat, you know?
I mean, when they say it's hard to win in the NFL, you ain't lying. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? For our team to have the year we did, I think it's really what threw a lot of national people off because we were actually consistent this year.
Hmm.
And for them to only have like at the very, very end of their run to start tinkering out, I can't even be mad. You know, I'm very proud of this team. I'm very proud of Jalen. I'm
Yeah.
sure he's torn inside knowing that he feels like probably his fumble is what led to the whole, you know,
Yeah.
dissolve of the game. But everybody, I'm sure, should feel like shit at this point
Oh
who
yeah.
did
I mean,
who were able to finish that game out the right way.
I wouldn't be happy, you know. But
Yeah, but I'm proud of Sirianni too because he
you
shut
gotta
everybody else up.
you gotta use it. You gotta use that for fuel for next year. You
Yeah,
know.
did you see the shot of Boston Scott standing and watching the celebration? That's what made me go,
Yeah. And you watch
a little
Jalen.
midget.
And you saw Jalen. He was just standing there, and he's walking through the confetti for the other
Yeah,
teams. Like,
it's so
yeah,
dramatic, such a dramatic shot. But the
yo,
fact that he's walking past like all the linebacker guys sitting on the bench, he's probably just like
yeah,
back in the lab in a month.
hmm,
I ain't got nothing else to say. Like I did what I could, you know. I'm not on defense, but yeah, yeah. But you know what? Honestly, we got a lot of shine this year. The whole city of Philadelphia.
hmm,
All they talked about was how nutty the kids were, and that was just for the conference win. You know what I mean? So we were super eager to get the Super Bowl win. But what made 2017, 2018 fun was that we didn't expect it. So a lot of shit just kind of happened.
yeah,
I think what we were missing from this final run was just kind of the novice part of it. I think we all expected it, and
hmm,
so it was even more of a dismal end. But
yeah.
and it was very anticlimactic. But shout out to Andy Reid because you know he can't say nothing now. He got 2 rings.
Yeah, get a big red.
Yeah, go Big Red. But at this point, we want Nick to have it because I feel like all his emotion is not in vain. You know.
Yeah,
Um, first of all, they had a great Super Bowl with Rihanna being the halftime show. So shout out to Philly getting another stellar Super Bowl just in general. Like the ratings were up, you know,
oh
like
yeah, it was the highest ever.
highest ever. And then Rihanna made it like 0.5
They
million more
five more, yeah, 5 more million people tuned in to
for
watch.
just for Riri. Cause they were
Just
like, a lot of people were saying, we don't know about this football thing, but we're here for the concert. You know what I mean? So, but I like that my birds were part of that. So, and
hmm,
once again, even when they came out with the Uzi song, even though you didn't hear it as much as you did with the Meek Mill theme,
yeah,
I think once again we gave him a little shine too. So a lot of Philly artists got on again.
hmm,
So there was a lot of positive things. I mean, we were the team to beat. You know, we were making the Chiefs feel like underdogs. Imagine that shit. We were always the
yeah,
underdogs. I
right.
told you we were underdogs, and I'm telling you, even after the Super Bowl, I really felt like it's confirmed again because here we go again. We got to be the underdogs going back to it. Now, mind you, if we play against the Buffalo or Cincinnati, which I would love because I think it would be a good matchup with Hurts and Burrow or Allen. So if they can get over it, if Allen can stop throwing fucking picks,
Yeah, but that's just how he plays. He's right. He just
he's
slings the ball
reckless.
around everywhere.
He's reckless, but I
Yeah.
like Joe Burrow because he's just as cool as Hurt. So that would be like the too cool for school bowl because they're both very level headed guys, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
I would love a Cincinnati bowl. I think that would be wonderful for them.
Oh, they would
Anyway,
too.
but there's much to look forward to because honestly, there's too many great. The real drama, obviously, too, is to see where the fuck Aaron Rodgers goes because whoever got him is going to
Uh,
have to deal with a lot of shit. It's probably the Jets.
it's gonna be a fucking circus.
If Lamar doesn't stay in Ravenville, I'm cool with him going to Atlanta or Miami myself.
I think they're gonna try and put a tag on him.
I can see that. I just don't like the fact that they don't want to pay the Negro what he deserves. I just feel like they should be giving him a blank check. But you know, again,
Mm,
for someone who's an MVP in his second year,
yeah, I get that, and I hear what you're saying, but my
I
thing
mean, you're
with
gonna
him,
pay Deshaun Watson to me is
yeah,
still
that's
irking me.
fucking stupid.
That's fucking dumb. He gets
That
guaranteed
bothers me.
money.
That bothers me.
The fact that Lamar,
Which he's got to give up to all the masseuses anyway, because he's all
I'm
the
saying, you know what I mean?
like,
You know what I'm saying? Like that money's just gonna go right
hey,
to them.
Karma's
So
a bitch, right? Give
right,
that money right
I'm
back.
saying you live
um,
by the sword, die by the sword. And to me, if he's the reason why Lamar can't get a guaranteed contract, that really fucking sucks.
well, they got to coach Lamar better too. He's got to stop. They got to coach him like about his play, like so he doesn't get hurt so much because he's a little reckless.
He is too, but honestly, you know why he has to do so much is because every now and then his wide receivers let him down.
Yeah, they do.
His running
But
backs get hurt just as much as he does. You know what I mean?
but
Like
it,
when
it
he,
just reminds me of RG3 a lot. Like the way
we're right, but he had way more stamina as far as RG3. RG3 had destroyed himself early.
RG3. I mean, he
He
was
went down early.
he was coached very poorly by the Redskins.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck.
And
They would just say
yeah,
run
they
by the
just said
ball. They just
it's
let
like
him
go
run.
ahead, run for your life, son.
Run for your life. And he has the same injury as Lamar, which I understood why Lamar didn't come back. But I seriously did think it was because Lamar was like, fuck y'all. I ain't going out there until y'all pay me.
And I don't
But
blame him. That's fine. Yeah.
to me, both can be true and both to me make sense. Like I'm not going out there ruining my knee again. And I'm also not going knowing that y'all not planning on paying me. So
Yeah.
I think those to me are the most intriguing offseason stories right now for those who are already in the league.
We'll learn in a few months. Like, come
We'll
on.
learn, and I want to know what the fuck Tua is gonna do because I don't know if Tua should be playing, but I think that Negro walking around acting like he's fine. I'm like, you don't know what your name is. He's
Yeah.
acting like he's fine. Like they had him promoting stuff, and I swore the little thing I saw him read, and he was kind of like, I don't know if they just didn't prep him, but part of me was like, ooh, he don't sound like he's clear.
Mhm.
I'm like, y'all keep acting like he's okay.
I feel bad for him.
Oh
So
my
bad. I
god! And
feel
what is he
bad
gonna
for him.
say? You know what I mean? Like he's not gonna take early retirement unless he
Nah.
really cannot function. And
Yeah.
he's walking around acting like he's fine. I said, "You ain't fine, but that's all right because you don't see nothing
Yeah.
right now." They still had him in concussion protocol, Eddie, when the season was over.
Yeah. He's still did he just clear it?
He must have because why would he be doing appearances? Because
Yeah, I think
everybody
he
and their mama
just
was promoting some shit during the Super Bowl.
I think he literally just cleared it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, I don't feel good about it. And fuck you to Chris Berman too. By the way, did you see that story?
And now what did he say now?
His old ass. He was talking about he gonna recognize, we're talking African more American quarterbacks playing. He's like, but also it's also Lincoln's birthday. Who the fuck cares about Abraham Lincoln?
Fuck you
And the
and
fact that you
fucking
felt the need as an immature white male to say that you are that pressed about them talking about black quarterbacks again. Like if you sick of the narrative, just say two great quarterbacks. Okay, anyway. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gotta
Yeah, why'd you
who
have
cares
to
about
bring
Abraham's
in
birthday?
yeah, no one
You know what I'm
does.
saying? Like
Like
stuff like that to me is very white
I
fragility to me.
see. I didn't hear that. I didn't even hear him say that. I
Yeah.
didn't see that
So
anywhere.
that's I saved it for the end because I might cut it out, but I'm just saying fuck you to Chris Berman.
Yeah, no,
ESPN
don't
always
cut it
bringing
out.
back the hard hitters, and he's done. His career's been over. I just
Yeah,
need him
fuck
to be
it.
gone. You already got 15 people on the panel. How many people you need on the panel? And
Also
NFL Network.
also
Stop
shout out
hiring people.
to Sims.
Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
he fall again. I hope he rolls down the hill again. Did you see that clip?
No.
I hope he rolls down a podium again.
Oh shit.
I should have sent that to you. I thought you sent it. I thought you saw it. It was on
Did
my
I?
stories. Somebody had made
Maybe
a
oh
I
god.
put it on my stories, but if not, I'll send it to you as soon as we
Okay.
wrap. But the
Yeah.
fact that he fell down that podium, I said to myself, I said,
Man,
that's the first
Sims,
dumbass.
fuck you
Yes.
and your son, Sims. Both of you.
All y'all, because y'all
Like,
seriously are one of those again, white fragility. I hate to say it. I know I got a white
and
brother-in-law.
your
He
and
don't
your
probably watch,
and your
but
son's a mediocre quarterback. So fuck you.
your son's a bitch. Okay. Him and Orlovsky, even though I like Orlovsky, but at the same time,
Uh,
Orlovsky's a bad quarterback too. He knew it. So
but they
at
all
least
want to.
Hasselback to me is a decent quarterback that can give good
Yeah,
analysis. But the
but
rest
you
of these
never,
cats,
hear him coming out his mouth sideways about people though. He says he speaks like about stuff
not even
normal.
David Carr on NFL Network. Like he be
Yeah,
defriending his brother, obviously, to the
no, of
tilt,
course.
but
Well,
of course, that's fam. But he don't sit there and be in denial about hurts. There's a way you can slight a player without really slighting a player, and I don't think some of these dudes know how to do it yet. There's a
and
way
I,
you can serve shade without being shady, if you know what I'm
mm,
saying.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
Well, also didn't like him. And Manny Ancho kind of pissed me off too. What he was saying too.
oh please, let's not go there. We know what's wrong with him. He can say anything he wants now because he got an Emmy, so he feel like he real qualified. But you get
Yeah,
read the fuck out like Van Lathan Jr. Don't get.
yeah.
That's
Well,
a whole
shady.
nother thing.
Well,
Black on black crime.
I love the Shady and Joy don't always agree with him, and they tell him too,
Good.
which is good. If you watch,
Joy has no reason to back off from any of them them
nah,
dudes around her.
nah, because she
You
knows her
know,
shit. She
she
knows
knows
her
her
shit.
shit, and she also has been a faithful like athlete since she was a kid. So it's not even like she just jumped into it like some of these pretty girls on these channels. Like
You know what other I would love to see her have an interview with
Hmm.
Mina Kimes. I like Mina Kimes from
I
ESPN.
love Mina.
She's always comes with the facts. Like that's one thing I
She
like
does,
about
and
Mina.
you can tell she's geeky with it. That's why I like her because she
Yeah,
honestly just likes
she
what
loves the
learning
sports.
and
Yeah,
yeah, sports
yeah.
and statistics and all that stuff. So to me, Mina has more clout than most of them girls on there because if
Hmm.
she's gonna be a dork about it, at least she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be a nerd to really know the sports and all the stuff they put on
Hmm.
ESPN because to
Yeah.
me it shows when you don't know anything. It just
Yep.
shows. It's a fucking hour. I'm sorry, Eddie.
No,
Um,
no, all good.
but we have to catch up. You know, like I said, we try to do these and catch up as much as possible. I don't know how much more co-ed we're probably going to do because at this point it's like kind of like this weird limbo
Of sports for
portion
just
of
for a
sports
heartbeat.
for
Yeah.
like another month.
Till
Yeah.
till
So
we get into like the playoffs of basketball. Yeah.
if the Sixers give us reason to talk, we'll talk. So I don't know, when the next edition is coming, but once I post this, I'm just going to take a little sabbatical if you don't mind. Um, But no, I look, shout out to all the girls who are in sports journalism, whatever you want to call it, sportscaster. I don't know what they label it. Carrie Champion too is another one I like. I like her because she's willing to have both a sports and a political commentary, which is a hard combination, especially if you're a black female.
Yeah, that's hard.
Her and Jamel both. But
I,
yeah, there are
I
tons of
love,
women
I love,
out
I
there.
love
But
Jamel.
Jamel is the only yeah, ESPN is scared of Jamel. That's why they got rid of her because they know she
Yeah,
tells the truth.
because
But
Jamel don't sugarcoat anything. That's why.
and
So,
she, if you ever listen to her podcast,
oh yeah, I do.
I'm behind actually. I need to catch
I'm
up.
way behind. Yeah,
Yeah, she's been showing a lot of replays on her social media, but I need to go back and listen because I finished her book and I told you her book traumatized me a little bit. So I was like,
oh,
I got to take a pause on Jamel right now because she done traumatized me with her
you said
background.
it traumatized you. Wow.
Yeah, she went through a very rough childhood, but again, it to me it all the more reason why she has gotten the accolades that she now gets because to me she wasn't just on ESPN dancing, she was learning the hard realities of being a black
Yeah.
journalist and being right about most of the stuff that she's talked about. And
Hmm.
she's also cool. She's also fine with saying she's wrong. Like that's another thing. She's not
Yeah.
afraid to admit when she gets
Oh
stuff wrong.
yeah. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
that most of the people who have hated on her don't understand that concept of her understanding when she's wrong. Like
hmm. Yeah.
we're not perfect. So, but Chris Berman can, yeah, he can kiss my ass. But he's one of those dudes that he represents everything that needs to change about the world these days. You just have to understand if times are changing and you can't adapt, just say that. Don't try to change stuff. Don't try to make subtle jabs at a culture you don't
Hmm.
understand.
Yeah.
Just say like, I'm sorry, I'm an old head. I don't get this whole thing. And people will appreciate you for just saying that.
Appreciate your honesty first if you like, instead of coming
I
out like
mean,
that.
look at Melvin Gordon saying his team carried him. Homeboy said, I ain't do shit to earn this ring. To me, every athlete should
He
be that
said,
real because
he
we all
said,
know
I
that
ain't do shit.
some of these teams that win, automatically all the guys on the bench get rings, which means you didn't do shit. But at least you admit it, like, I got
Yeah.
this from not doing a damn thing. I
Hmm.
respect that. I respect that with Melvin Gordon because everyone knows his career has been crazy lopsided. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So for someone like him to be able to flex and hold a Lombardi, like, I ain't do shit, but I'm here. I respect it.
Yeah.
Juju.
Be true. Be true. Well, Juju.
Juju's immature. We all know this now.
Yeah.
I think the whole
So
world knows he's immature. TikTok boy. I love you, AJ Brown.
TikTok boy.
AJ Brown has now officially made TikTok boy a diss. All right. All right, Eddie. So any
All
final
right.
words? I know I've been yapping.
Nah, I mean, I just feel the same way you do. It's like, hey, just time to, let's load up and do it again. That's all.
Yeah, that's all we can
That's
do.
it. That's all you
We're
can do.
365, man. We all know this stuff ain't gonna stop after this week. It's just hard to.
Hey, you know what? After when your team's in the Super Bowl, your off season's a lot shorter.
It really does. And I told you since social media, it's like you really never not hear anything after this is
Yeah.
over. Like they're gonna
Yep.
keep throwing tidbits out there.
Yep.
Especially once they find a new DC. So that'll be the newest thing. And
Yeah.
if Johnson does get the OC job, then I'm happy for Jalen because I just want nothing but continuity for him. And I
So
want him to feel confident going into this year if he doesn't already feel like he's already probably mentally on another page already.
yeah.
But all right, birds
All
of a
right.
feather, the CoEdEdition. This is why I do this to get this out. Like I told Eddie, go Sixers tonight. They're playing right now. I'm sure. Is it home or
Yeah,
in
they
Cleveland?
just start. They just started. They're home. Yeah.
Are they're home? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, go Sixers and
Go
yeah, go
Sixers.
Phillies. And I don't know what the Flyers are doing. I don't think anybody cares right now, but
the This is a rebuild year. No one cares.
Yeah, I mean, rebuild years, like, we'll talk to you later. Put it on a
Yeah.
Post-it. Alright,
Yeah.
thanks for watching if you were, and if not, it's alright. It's okay. We're gonna win again another day. Talk to y'all later. AJ out. Peace out. Bye.